Good day, Junior Techies, and welcome to this video where we're going to be looking at an exam question. So a typical exam style question that you could get at the end of the year dealing with population ecology. I've selected this one because it is your typical type question and that we can have a look at, we can analyze, and we can see how to approach so that we understand exactly what these questions are asking us for our final exam. So you'll see here that it's an investigation type question that was conducted. Okay, so we get given a bit of data here where a group of students wanted to determine the population size of two species of butterfly. And the results were indicated in the tables below. So we got species A and species B, numbers captured, marked and released, and then second recapture and then the number that we actually had in the recapture sample. So we get given a whole lot of values here. So let's just quickly have a look at and see what we have. So for species A, in October 2004, the number of marked species and released were 20, and in November of 2004, number of individuals in the second sample, so in other words the recapture sample, we have 300. So there's a substantial increase in the number of species A, and then the number of marked in that second sample is only 10. If we look at species B, in October 2004, there were 25 individuals marked and released. In November 2004, there were 75 captured in the second capture, and of those, only 5 were marked. If we have a look here, using this data, we'll see that there is a period of time that lapses between the first capture and the second. So October to November, it's 1 month that we have a look at. So the duration here is 1 month, October to November 2004, and that's the duration. Okay, so if we are working with two different species, we need to make sure not to confuse these two with each other. So if we are looking at this, we know that they share the same habitat, and do they depend on the same resources? And is this an open system or a closed system? In other words, is there emigration or immigration taking place for each of these species? So these are good questions to try and guide us in understanding exactly how these numbers were affected by the potential impacts of things like emigration and immigration. If we look here at the questions, it says to us, define the term population. So this is a definition type question. So this should be pretty straightforward. It's for 3 marks, so we know the examiner is looking for something specific. Okay? And if we were to answer question 3.1.1, we know that we are looking for the definition. So we need to know our definitions in this section. So here, it's a group of organisms of the same species that occupy an area at the same time and can breed together. There's our definition of population, and that will give us our 3 marks. If we look at question 3.1.2, it says estimate the number of butterflies of species A in the area by using the following formula. So they're giving us the formula now, and we're only working with species A. So 3.1.2, we're looking for those numbers. So using the formula that they have given us, we need to do our calculation. If number of caught in the first sample, so we have 20. S, number caught in the second sample, is 300. And then M, number of marked in the second sample, is 10. So now we just use their formula and we insert the variables from the table. So we've got the answer coming to 600 butterflies of species A. That's our estimated number of butterflies using the formula that they've given us. 3.1.3 suggests two reasons why there were differences in the numbers between species A and B in the recaptured or second sample. So, here we do discuss immigration of species B or immigration of species A. So in other words, the numbers may have been impacted by either individuals of one species leaving or individuals of a species joining the population group. If we look carefully here, we could also say that the marking method used for one of the species, particularly this species B, may have made these individuals more visible to predators, and therefore they would have been caught a little bit more easily, and therefore those numbers would have been less. Right, so we could also say here that species A could have had a greater natality and a lower mortality. So depending on how we justify the difference in numbers, we could refer to immigration and emigration, or the method of marking the individuals in the species, or we could have said because of the species they may have had a greater natality versus mortality, and therefore their numbers would have remained high. So junior tukkies, I hope that this has helped. An exam question like this loves to test our complete understanding of population ecology. This is one exam question. Be sure to get your hands on the worksheet where we've got a couple of other questions that you can work through to prepare for the end of the year exam. Thank you for joining us, and I do hope that you join us again for some of the other videos.